the drive was anything but smooth. We hit a big snowstorm. My friend Navia and I are on a road trip back home from Maine.
My name's Olivia. I was born with a rare genetic condition. My suffering does not define me. With every battle I face, I am made stronger through faith.
I'm free! And then I went home for Thanksgiving break, which was very nice. It was a good break. But unfortunately, when coming back from Thanksgiving break, things between my roommate and I drastically changed. And I'm glad I haven't put her name out there. I'm glad I haven't introduced y'all to her, because I was gonna do all of that. But I'm glad because I want to share a little bit about the situation. I'm not trying to badmouth anybody or anything like that. That's also why I'm glad that I didn't put her name or her face out there. But it maybe wasn't the best idea to get an apartment where I have a roommate that's 10 years younger than me, because that is likely where the problem lies. Is there's just this massive age gap. And with there being that 10-year gap, like, I pay all of my bills, she does not. Her parents pay everything for her, so like she's not responsible for a lot of stuff, for anything except for like her academics. So with that being said, it made it difficult. I'm not gonna give out like specific details. It got to a point where there was careless behavior and I could not afford it. I'll just put it that way. And so my roommate and I no longer get along at all. And I'm not mad at her, just once again, because there's such a big age gap. I'm willing to talk about anything and everything. I'm willing to compromise where I can, but obviously there's limitations when that comes to like affording things. So that's where I'm needing like some understanding. That part's the difficult part. Even though I'm willing to talk about things, that takes two people. You need two people willing to talk about things, and when one person's not willing to talk about things, all communication shuts off, because you need two people to communicate. It's a little bit of an odd situation now where there's just no talking. It's constantly silent in our apartment unless one of us is on the phone or something, which I would have liked there to be like some communication where there's like, oh, I maybe don't understand your perspective, or oh, I maybe can't compromise here, but like let's agree to disagree and like move on. But there's none of that, so it's kind of an odd situation and still half the time to go. But I am, even though I've renewed my lease for next year, because that had to happen in October, I moved in late August, like end of August. I've already renewed my lease, but that being said, I'm still looking for other options because I'm gonna get a new roommate next year and I don't know what that's gonna look like, and I don't know if I'm willing to take that chance depending on what other kind of options I can find out there. Going back to like, I went home for Thanksgiving break. I'll put in that footage right here because it was my first time flying with my dog and I was terrified just because I was doing so much research into it before actually ever flying with him. But like, I did some training with him, I watched videos. Some of the videos kind of put a little bit of anxiety in me about him not being able to get on the flight or not being able to go back with me. So I'll add in some footage from all of that. Go home. All the way in. Good boy. That's it. ended up going okay. Everything was fine in that regard. All of that happened with my roommate. We haven't talked since Thanksgiving break, or soon after Thanksgiving break. And then, what was it, just like a week ago? Not even, 5 days ago, I got home for Christmas, which is wild. It's now December 27th. School didn't let out until the 19th. That's when I took my last final. And then the 20th, I got in my Jeep and I started driving home with one of my friends. I've made some good friends in school. Even though I haven't been able to continue going to my clubs, like, I've made some really good friends. And I'm really, really thankful and blessed, because I honestly didn't expect to make a ton of friends because of my age, but I've been making lots of friends. So that's been going well. And one of my friends lives in Michigan, so her and I got in my Jeep and took turns driving, which was nice. I'm not sure if I shared with y'all before how scared I was to do the drive myself, simply because of the problems with my arms. As most of y'all know, if you've been subscribed to my channel or if you've checked out my channel, I have some major problems with my arms to where my nerves are dying, my brachial plexus, and my subclavian artery is cut off. The one in my right arm is like just slowly dying, and I have some paralysis in this arm. It's not like, oh, my entire arm's paralyzed, obviously not, but y'all can check out some videos on that. Either here or here will be the card for at least one of those videos. But because of that, I was so scared that I was gonna get stranded driving home or whatever on Christmas break, on my way back from Christmas break, and summer break, and on my way back from summer break. So I found a friend that lives in Michigan. Her dad drove to Ohio. We did the drive together. She got out in Ohio, and then I continued the drive back home by myself. But the drive was anything but smooth. The drive was anything but smooth, and I wish I had more videos, but I tried vlogging and then the audio didn't come out, so I don't have a ton of videos from the drive. But we hit a big snowstorm. My friend Olivia and I are on a road trip back home from Maine, and it's snowing really, really, really bad outside. Luckily, I did get some clips of it snowing on the road, and you can just see it get from bad to worse to even worse. And it just eventually got to the point where my headlights were totally covered in snow, so I couldn't see the road. And it was snowing really bad. And then I suddenly ran out of washer fluid. And then my Jeep was acting strange, and all of the dash lights kept lighting up. And then traction control suddenly just shut off. So we were basically forced to stop 3.5 hours before we were actually supposed to stop and where our hotel reservations were. Oh man, I have to call them. But we didn't make it to the hotel, so we just had to get a last minute hotel. But we're safe, and that's the good thing, because there was multiple car pileups. Like, we just kept driving and seeing more car pileups over and over, and then the opposite side of the highway got totally shut down because it was like probably 7 or more vehicles that piled up. But we're safe. We got here safe, and that's all that matters for now, until we have to do more than half the drive tomorrow. But it's gonna be okay. On the way home, which is kind of to be expected when you're way up north and it's December, but it was bad. And I'm not even talking about my Jeep was handling bad. Obviously, I drive a Wrangler, it does great in the snow, but it's different when you're trying to get home and you only have a couple days to get home before Christmas. And also, different when you have somebody else driving your Jeep who maybe hasn't had as much experience. Nothing bad towards my friend whatsoever. She herself said she was a little nervous, but a whole different story. And also just the weather in general, and it wasn't just her, it was me too. Eventually it got to the point where my headlights were totally covered in snow, and you can't just stop on the side of the interstate, and I didn't even realize it until there were no oncoming cars, there were no cars beside me and no cars in front. So like suddenly the last car took off and we were by ourselves on this pitch black road, and my friend was sleeping in the passenger seat, and I was like, I can't see a thing, and the windshield was covered in salt, and I tried to wipe it with the wiper fluid like we had been the entire drive. And apparently just before this happened, I had used my last bit of wiper fluid, so at the exact same time as it getting pitch black and having no headlights, my wiper fluid ran out and my windshield was just covered in salt and I couldn't see anything. I had to wait for some more vehicles to come along, and I just stayed in the right lane, the far right lane, and waited. Like, I just drove really, really, really slow because I could barely see anything. There was some light coming through my headlights, but not much, and it was still snowing pretty hard. So I just waited for another car to come along, and then I booked it and caught up with that vehicle and stayed behind them until we found an exit to get out at a hotel, and just totally missed our reservations in Pennsylvania and stopped in New York instead. But it turned out okay. I got home, she got home, we're all okay, and the reservations were refunded, so like everything worked out. So I'm just glad to be home, and I just wanted to get y'all all caught up on all of that. And I have some other videos that I've recorded that I can't include in here because they're kind of like their own little video that I'm going to get edited while I'm at home, because I do have until January 21st when classes start. So I'm gonna try and get as many videos edited as possible. Anyway, sorry this video is probably like super long, but I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I hope that y'all are happy getting an update, because I'm happy that I get to put one out there finally. Anyway, hopefully not too long till next time. I love y'all. Bye.